Kita mo, mag-good vibes ka lang.
Ay, ganun ba?
Diba? Oh, alam ko yung latest post mo. I'll just drop by here in your timeline to tell
Yes,
everyone.
because we are blessed and we are loved.
In love.
Okay, so Bea, meron ka bang pwedeng i-chika sa amin lahat na experience mo with the old version of the book and the app?
Siyempre, with the old version of the book, parang part na yata ako ng ACG family. Hindi pa nilo-launch yung book, di ba? Or kaka-launch pa lang ng book. Or basta maraming libro kasi. Basta nung tandang-tanda ko, hindi pa tayo dito sa Tax Hub, dun pa sa old office, na pagka first meeting namin na ni Sir Mon, puro libro. Puro libro yung binigay. Maraming pinauwi sa aming libro si Sir Mon, pang homework. Pero yung talaga, yung first edition of the book is talagang, kumbaga, it's for everyone. Lahat ng tao, kahit anong profession mo, kahit anong trabaho mo, may intindihan mo yung nasa libro. And madali siyang intindihin. Hindi siya yung kailangan magaling ka sa math. Hindi yung kailangan may alam mo yun, hindi na po siya yung, it's very accessible. Ako rin po. Kaya ako po naintindihan. Kaya
lang ako ng mga mathematician.
ako, Sermon, Miss Hazel, laging ganun. Ano ba to? Pero yun, it's very accessible and kumbaga, lahat maiintindihan. You don't need, parang hindi mo ka na kailangan ng, meron ka ng backup na knowledge or meron kang backup na idea, but you will really understand it. And yung sa app, syempre, yung tax calculator, diba? And yung calendar, diba? So, talagang very good yan. And I'm excited because share ko lang po, yung second edition of the book, it's really, kumbaga, it's very millennial, it's very now. Because kahit anong profession mo, freelancer ka, vlogger, YouTuber, kahit galing kang tech company, crypto, may crypto na ba dun? Wala pa, meron ng crypto. So kumbaga, it's really now.
Parang na-out ako dun sa very millennial. Pwede pa ba ako pumasa na millennial?
Pero very now.
Ay, wow, okay.
Pwede na yung very now.
Okay, I love you. 50 na ako, pero pwede pa akong pumasang millennial. Thank you for that, Bea.
Thank you so much po. Sir Mon, congrats! Ingat ka kung saan ka man pupunta. At nandito lang kami at mag-aantay sa pagbabalik mo.
Sa airport.
No, you're all here for two reasons, no? Either you hate taxes or you love Mon, or both, right? And, I met Mon way back, siguro almost 10 years na rin, no? And that time I
Kawawa ka
really...
naman.
I met Mon almost 10 years ago, and that time nakita ko pa yung very humble, very small office. And I remember umikot pa tayo, we were looking at a lot of offices, no? And what was so what really fascinated me with Mon was that how can someone talk about taxes and still be very lively and happy, right? Na parang taxes is nothing, right? And sabi ko, I was telling him, I remember telling him, no, my parents came from Binondo. At nakita mo, iba yung mundo dun eh. Takot sa taxes, takot sa BIR, lahat yan. Lahat ng negosyante dun. Right? And I grew up with that mindset, right? And to know Mon, and later on, we saw, no, I used to be with ABS-CBN, we launched Adobers, we begin to realize, no, not only the small businesses, but even the professionals also had challenges with their taxes, and that's why we really applauded the advocacy of Mon, and that's how we started also CSR, which is the foundation of ACG, with the goal of really educating a lot of people to understand their taxes, how they can really go around it, work around it, so that they can pay their taxes properly. For me, maybe just a reminder for all of us. In life, you can really have a very happy, you can enjoy life even if you forgo a lot of things. Sometimes just follow your passion, you follow your dream, right? And all of us, we have different passions and dreams we follow it, and other things you can forgo. But what is the most staple, we cannot go through life without, is paying taxes. And for you to understand that you need to do that, and how you understand how to navigate this very, sabi nga pag Chinese, this evil thing called tax. Right? The earlier you understand it and how you will how you will navigate around it, then you will get to enjoy life more. Because hindi mo iisipin yun, it doesn't become a baggage. Right? And in the end, it's really our duty as citizens of this country, and it's a duty of every person on earth to pay their taxes to their governments. That's a staple. So with that, I hope you all enjoy tonight. Congratulations to Mon for your book. I know this has been nakailang books ka na, no? But I remember nung book 1 pa niya, I was there also, no? So again, congratulations on your advocacy. Good luck on Harvard, and show them what a Filipino genius is, right? You show them how we are created and made. And again, no, I hope to see all of you as real advocates of our cause, though, that we have to pay the right taxes. We don't have to be afraid of it, no? And if we do our part, then also it's becoming a good citizen of this country. So.
Yay! Mas matangkad pa sa akin. Yahoo! Ayan. Please
Sa inyo ng bata.
Ako.
Sino ba sa inyo yung nabubwisit kasi ang daming tanong walang sumasagot? O kaya yung umaasa ka na tutulungan ka pero iiwanan ka sa lere? O kaya yung namuhunan ka, umasa ka na long term pero biglang mawawala? So pagdating sa pagbabayad ng buwis, parehas lang eh. Magbabayad ka ng buwis kasi gusto mo makatulong sa gobyerno para sa pagbabago. Pero pag na-late ka, pe-penalize ka, parang criminal ka, ang sakit-sakit. May tanong ka, parang sin zone lang, walang sasagot. O minsan may sasagot, di naman pala sigurado. Minsan tinanong mo na yung opisyal, iba pa rin ang isasagot. Parang certainty na nga na may tax. Yung uncertainty ng tax, sobra pa. Alam mo na nga may buwis eh, pero hindi mo pa rin alam kung hanggang saan yung problemang dadalhin niya. So, ang bigat-bigat. So, iwas buwisit, sa title pa lang, makaiwas buwisit. It's not really wag magbayad ng buwis. In fact, yung first edition, lahat ng BIR officials binigyan natin ng kopya. And I think even in this 2022 edition, wherein trade law, create law, amnesty, even yung mga tax for social media influencers, and the digital economy, including cryptocurrency, nandito po lahat sa 2022 edition natin na iwas buwisit. Sana po, sa pagkuha niyo ng bawat kopya na makakatulong din sa aming good governance advocacy, sana makabawas sa bigat at makaiwas buwisit kayo talaga. So maraming salamat po, and I hope you grab a copy of our latest tax law.
Last moment namin to ni Nadine. Ay, hindi. Meron palang ilalabas dito, no? So, Nadine, pwede kang dun sa medyo gitna. Yan. Ay, may drama? Okay. Alright, guys. Meron tayong pa-konting question and answer portion. Ready na ba kayo? Alright. Sound.
Bakit po ako nakaupo? Tayo na lang ako. Good evening po sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, what are the shifts and changes in you? Marami, especially after the pandemic, during the pandemic even. I mean, I'm sure lahat naman sa atin, lahat tayo nagdaan sa shift or nagdaan sa change during the pandemic and after that. I think ngayon, aside from just working on my career, I'm also working on business. So, things that I'm interested in, a lot of people know that I'm helping my mom with her business, which is for plants naman, kasi plants, I'm really into plants. Growing up, my mom is a plantita kasi yun talaga sobra. So, I think it's that from a showbiz girl to business naman. So, I think that's a big shift that I'm going through and still going through it. It's not yet done.
A work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
That's right. And blooming while she's progressing.
Yeah,
May
thank you.
plants na. Alright, ang ganda ng sagot. Sana kayo din ay work in progress also. And shifts are not bad, di ba, Nadine?
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. We all have to change sometime, somehow. It's part of growth.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, with business naman po, I have a lot of advisors, I guess, because I'm new with the whole business scene. So, marami pong nag-a-advise sa akin, and sometimes I ask for guidance as well. Nagpapatulong, of course. And with my taxes naman, of course, Mon is there. Diba? It's easy lang kasi at least I have someone who's trustworthy and someone that I know talaga who can help me with my taxes. And since it's really a difficult subject, you know, I mean, I still have not got my taxes figured out. So when you say taxes, parang hindi ko pa rin alam kung paano ba siya kinakalculate, kung ano bang nangyayari with that. So I'm really glad that I met Mon. And he really helps me out with all of that. So, yeah. Of course, like what I said earlier, syempre, lalayo pa tayo, andyan si Mon. And it's really good to work with someone who you trust na and someone that you know already. So, yes, of course. So TaxWhizPH, ayan, may magre-reply po sa inyo doon kung gagamitin niyo yung app. And if you have questions with anything that's about taxes, yun, madaling i-text yun.
Yun, bakit ka nagkaroon ng gantong idea?
In 2009, I was asked to join the BAR to study the tax system, the bureaucracy, why there's corruption, and all this. And after my short stint at BAR, 2010, I was asked how do we get rid of corruption in BAR or how do we improve the tax system. Isa na yung pumasok sa isip ko, automated. Mawala yung discretion ng mga tao na nabibigyan ng kapangyarihan na sana tumulong pero yung iba, imbis na tumulong, nagiging dagdag pa sa pasakit ng ating mga taxpayers. So while we are hoping and praying that the government will finally heed our call, I thought that probably I just have to call my friends and do the app. Automate it ourselves. Private sector taking the initiative. And we're very lucky because this administration, with in partnership with BIR, under the good leadership of Commissioner Billy Gulay, we were able to really work with BIR. In fact, we were the partner of BIR, not just on the hackathon event where we really tap a lot of developers, but at the same time, yung app mismo, nagkaroon ng regulation na pwede nang mag-develop third-party providers, mga developers, para tulungan yung taxpayers. And TaxWhizPH is exactly that app. Except that, it's a lot better than any app that you would encounter. Because sa app na to, it's all-in-one talaga. You get to ask, you get to compute, you get to remind yourself with the deadline, you get to file, and ultimately, you get to make sure na whatever piece of document na dapat naalala mo, pipicturean mo na lang siya ng using the app. Andun na. So, it will report and file on your behalf. So, wala lang. Parang feeling ko lang, it's really making tax compliance simpler and easier, which is really our dream. A tool or a weapon against an examiner, but it's actually a tool for tax compliance. So it will make sure that the documents which are normally missing or not encoded properly or miscalculated are done automatically kasi nga that's exactly the power of the app. And of course, filing and paying it on time. But when it comes to audit, that's really beyond the... I don't think there's a software or system that it really... Well, since the app will capture the information, then you will have more leverage and defense when it comes to BIR throwing any assessment on you. Because at the end of the day, during audit, it's really a matter of providing document substantiation. So the burden of proof is on us. So si TaxWhiz, makakatulong mo siya, mahatian ka o matulungan ka dun sa burden of proof na yun. Because the app will take care of the financial and tax information for you. Which are not yet passed as a law. But in 2020 edition, all the packages which were passed, including Create Law, the Amnesty, including the revenue regulations, are all included. In fact, the same with the first version, yung mga pending in Congress, nasa 2022 edition pa rin. So that the taxpayers will be prepared already once it gets passed as a law.
Not to put you on the spot, but are you for or against the changes that the government has been doing with regards to, of course, first the train law, second is, of course, the amount of taxes that will be put on citizens?
Well, I must admit that I supported trade law. In fact, I was part of the one that went around the country together with DOF and BIR. Unfortunately, during the bicameral, as usual, there were a lot of changes, including the reduction of excise tax on luxury cars, which we were supporting heavily at 200%, na downgrade ng 60% kasi yung ating mga legislators puro luxury cars ang sasakyan. The inclusion of sugar tax or tax on sweetened beverages, that was not part of the original version. And of course, I keep saying this, our congressmen, our senators should be reminded that they are our representatives. Kasi the inclusion or the introduction of ultra-rich rate, the 35% is not acceptable. If there's one thing that should be repealed immediately is to remove the 35%, considering that the CREATE law reduced the 30% corporate income tax down to 20% for small businesses and 25% for regular corporations. So, given the 30% reduction for the corporate income tax reduction from 30 to 20, tapos yung personal income tax mo nasa 35%, that's a 15% disparity. So I don't know if it's a problem of arithmetic or they simply are ignoring that there is a great injustice between the personal income tax and corporate income tax. So I supported it, but as usual, as a tax advocate, we always propose or argue on what are favorable for our taxpayers.
And not for the congressman.
And not for the congressman, definitely.
Alright. Aside from that, sir, of course, how would you, of course, promote, paying of taxes when the one that's elected isn't actually paying it?
Well, I think I have answered that in the last, in my recent interviews. We call on the president to resolve the tax issues of the Marcos family. I think he has to gain a moral ascendancy by setting good example to make sure that the 23 billion unpaid estate tax liability will be resolved immediately, even prior to any discussion of new taxes. Because I don't think they have the moral ascendancy to talk about tax collection when they themselves are guilty of settling their tax issues. So that's first. Then second is the Farmali. What happened to Farmali? We're talking about more than 13 trillion national debt. And the government says it's for build, and COVID response. But there were billions of issues, including the 10 billion Farmali scandal. So, ano nangyari, di ba? So, I guess we also ask ourselves, who are the people we voted in Senate? Why they are not signing the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee report, which is known to everyone. I was the one who testified on behalf of the Filipino taxpayers that we should make sure that our taxes are used properly.
And with that, thank you, sir.
And let me first acknowledge the members of the media who are here. Rain check, ex-Manuel